Hi students, today is Thursday, April 16th, and I'm just going to go over our assignment for today. Today you'll notice that there's only 4 questions on this assignment, but a couple of these are surface area of triangular prisms, and there's a few steps to those, so that's why there's only 4 problems on this assignment, and actually 2 of them are only the triangular prisms. So first of all, I want to kind of show you what you want to do with the triangular prism. You want to break it up into different parts, your triangular prism. So anyway, first of all, you can tell this whole thing, right, this whole shape right here is the triangular prism. And then there's different sides to it. Like first of all, you can tell that there is a triangle here. And we can usually tell the triangle because it has the right angle, right? So I have that triangle right there, but I also have the other side of it right here is also a triangle. So we know that there's 2 triangles in our triangular prisms. So the first thing we want to do is find the area of the triangle, and then we times it by 2 because there's 2 of them. 1 right here, 2 right there, right? So that's the first step we want to make, is we want to find that area of the triangle and times it by 2. So if we look at that really quick, we'll just start with that part of it. And I can tell that, and remember the area of the triangle is base times height divided by 2. So I can tell that my base is 18 and my height is 24 for that one. So I will times those together and divide them by 2. So that equals, the top is 432, and if I divide that by 2, I get 216. So the area for one of the triangles is 216, but remember I need to times it by 2, so I'm just going to write, if we take that 216 and times it by 2, 432 on that one. So that's the first step, is to find the area of the 2 triangles. So that's what that is. Okay, then number 2, and I'm going to see if I can find another color to help me out with this. Let's go with purple. Okay. All right, so for number 2, what we want to do on that is we want to find the area of the floor. In just a sec, I'm going to erase this part now so that we can see the floor part better. Okay, so the floor of it, you could tell, is this shape. That's what's on what would be the floor, what would be the base of it, is that shape. And so to find that, it's just, this one's just area of a rectangle, so I'm going to put right here, area of floor is number 2, the second step. And there's only one floor, so I don't have to times it by 2. And it's just basically finding the length times the width on this one. So on this one I have my length is 18 and my width is 27. Okay, so I want to multiply those 2. And that equals 486. So that's what the area of that floor would be on that one. So that's the second thing I want to do. Okay, let's see. Let's find a new color again. Okay, so the third thing, I'm going to erase my floor right now. And the third thing that I want to do is I want to find the area of the wall. And that is this back part right here. So that we're looking for that part too. And it's still a rectangular prism, so I'm still going to just be looking for the length times the width. And on this one, we can tell that the length right here is going to be 24. That's the one side of it. And this side, I don't it doesn't show me one right on it, but I know it's going to be congruent to that side. So it's going to be, so this side would be 27 because it is equal to the side right across from it. So 24 times 27 is 648. So that is what that third one would be. And then finally, the last part of what we need to find, we'll go with green this time. Let's erase this so that it's not in the way. Okay, so the fourth one would be to find the area of the slope of the triangle, which is this shape. Sorry. And so it's that part right there. And so we can tell on it, and again, it's just one shape and it's basically still the length times the width. We can tell that it has 27 and 30. So those are the two sides that we want to do. So we'll go 27 times 30 is 810. Okay, so now I have each one of those spots. Let me say it really quick. I'm going to go like this. So remember I had this was the first one, 432. This was the second one, 486. The third one, 648. And the fourth one, 810. So what I want to do is take those different measurements. 432, 486, 648, and 810. And add all those together. And I get 2376. And again, my measurement in these was feet, and it's area again, so it would be squared. So in the end, that is what my answer would be. So anyway, it's just really important. Remember these different steps. So I wanted to find the area of the triangle, times it by 2, the area of the floor, and I only need to find one of those, the area of the wall, I only needed to find one of those, and the area of the slope, only find one of those, and then add them all together. Okay, let's look at the second one and keep those steps in mind as we do it. So first of all, on here, and this shape is turned a different way, but we're still looking for all the different things. So first thing, remember, is we want to find the area of the triangle and times it by 2 because there's 2 sides. So if we look at that, we can see that here's my triangle on one side. And I know that because there's that right angle, and then here's its opposite. So we can tell that there's those 2 triangles right there. Okay, and remember that to find area of a triangle, I go base times height divided by 2. So I can tell that this one's base is 16, and its height is 12. And then I'm going to divide that by 2 to get, let's see, so I have 16 times 12 is 192, and then divide that by 2 is 96. Okay, so but then I want to take that 96 and I need to times it by 2. And a little tip here, and some of you I'm sure will notice this, that see right here where I divided it by 2, but then I went ahead and times it by 2, so I really just ended up back at the 192, which if you think about it, if you take a triangle, or if you take the formula for a triangle is basically finding the area of a square and then cutting it in half, but when I have 2 of them, I'm actually putting the square back together. So if you understand that concept, that I divided it by 2, but then I timesed it by 2, you could kind of eliminate that step of dividing it by 2 and just leave it at the 192. But if you're unsure of that concept, that step, then just keep following it this way, right here, and then times it by 2. Okay, so let's see. Let's go with my next step. So number 2 in this process. So now I know that that's what my 2 triangles was the 192. So now my next one in this process was to find the area of the floor, and it's just the length times the width. And so the floor in this one is right here. That's the floor. And so we can see it's 2 measurements, so it's 15 times 16. And there's only one floor, so I don't have to times it by 2 or anything. And so let's see, so 15 times 16 equals 240. So that is what my area of the floor will be, and that's my second step. Okay, third step, go with green. Okay, so my third step on this one was to find the area of the wall. And again, this is my wall right here, the back part of it, I guess you could say. And again, it's just a square or a rectangle, so it's going to be length times width. And we can tell that one of its sides is 12. And this side is, I don't have one there, but I know that it's going to be the same as the one that's directly opposite on this. So this 15 right here tells me that that side will be 15 as well. So now I have 12 times 15, and that's 180. And that's the third thing that we need to do. And then finally, the fourth one is to find the area of the slope, which the slope is this piece that's sloping on the prism. And so it's like that part right there. And again, it's just really a rectangular shape anyway, so it's just going to be length times width. And I can see that it has these two sides, 15 times 20, which is 300. Okay, so now I have each of those different parts of it. I found the area of the triangle, then I found the area of the floor, then the area of the wall, then the area of the slope. So finally my last step would be to take each of those spots. So we know that that was the one for the triangles. The 240 is for the floor, 180 is for the wall, and 300 is for the slope. So I want to take those and add them together. So 192, 240, 180, and 300, and add those. And I get 912. And then my unit, and it was inches, and it's still area, so it's squared. So that's what my answer would be on number 2. So again, just remember each of these steps. So that's what I think would be really important to write down. That step 1, you need to do the area of the triangle. Step 2, area of the floor. Step 3, area of the wall. And step 4, area of the slope. All right. Okay. Now that I've kind of made a mess on this one, I'm going to erase some of this around here for the next question. And so number 3 and 4 are going back to some two-step equations, which is kind of more of a review and a little bit different than what we've been talking about with our geometry right now. But we'll go ahead and work on this. So for this one, it says solve for y. And I have 2y plus 11 equals 37. So I'm going to write it back out here. Okay, so remember that in these type of problems, my goal is always to get the variable by itself. Let me write that over here. Get variable by itself. And the variable in this one is the y. So our goal is to get that by itself. So step one, we need to move away any number that isn't attached to the variable first. So we see that the 11 isn't attached to it. So I'm going to move the 11 over here. And remember, when I do that, I have to do the opposite. So since it's positive 11, I'm going to subtract 11 there, which got rid of it on that side. Subtract 11 on this side. So 37 subtract 11 is 26. So now I have that side equals 26. And I still have the 2y on that side. On this side, it was still over there. Okay, so now my next step is to get rid of the 2. Just a sec, I'm going to find us another color too. Okay, so to get rid of the 2 away from the y. So since this is multiplying right now, I'm going to divide it by 2. So dividing that by 2 gets rid of it there, and then I have 26 divided by 2, which is 13. So then that would be, so y equals 13. And that's how you would do that problem, because now I have the y by itself. So that's how I would get that answer on that one. And this looks really not like a 13. Okay, so that's number 3. And let's see if we can find number 4 on my paper. There we go. Okay, and this is number 4. I'll write 4 up here. We can't really see that, but again, we want to solve for y. So our variable in this one is y, and that's what we're trying to get by itself. So first step, remember, is, I'm going to write it out, 5y subtract 13 equals 27. Okay, so my first step is to move the 13 over there. I need to move it away first. It's the one that's not attached to the variable. So, because remember, we have our variable right there. So, and it's subtracting here. So the opposite of that would be adding 13, which then those two, if I have negative 13 and positive 13, crosses those out, and add the 13 over here, and that is 40. And then I still have my 5y. Okay, so then my next step is to get y, isolate the variable, right? That's our goal. So then I'm going to divide, and right now these two are timesing, so I have to do the inverse of timesing, which is dividing. So if I take 5 and divide it by 5, I get rid of it over there, but bring that over here, do the same thing. I have to do whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So now I have 40 divided by 5, which is 8. So my answer would be y equals 8. And that is how you do number 4. So anyway, work on these, do your best. Remember, you could always watch this video while you're working them out, so that that could help you, and pause it as you're going. I'll also attach another video to our lesson today that I think is pretty helpful too, in the finding the rectangular prism surface area. And again, so use those resources. Remember, you could look at the example that's always up in the corner on Alex, and you can check it down in this corner, and it will give you like 3 tries checking it, and then it would give you a different problem. If you're still really stuck, then please take like a screenshot of the problem or a picture and email it to me, and I will help you work it out. Okay, thanks. Have a good day.